Salvete omnes. This is Abbey Latin Liber Primus, chapter 12. This is exercise C of chapter 12, parsing Latin to English. Sententia prima. Sunt ne multa animalia magna in mare lato. So starting with the first word, sunt ne. Sunt is third person plural, present active indicative, from sum esse fui futurus, to be. So they are, or because it's the first word in the sentence, it's probably existential sunt, meaning that there are. Something third person plural exists. Now the ne attached to the end of it, the enclitic ne, indicates that we are asking a question. This is an interrogative, and we are expecting a yes or a no answer. It's a neutral yes or no. The next word is multa, from multus meaning much, plural many. Now, judging by its form, that a, multa, it could be nominative, singular, feminine. It could be nominative, plural, neuter, or accusative, plural, neuter. Being that it is an adjective, it should agree with a noun in gender, number, and case. However, this adjective could also be a substantive, and a substantive adjective is pretty much just a noun. The next word, animalia, from animal, animalis, neuter, meaning animal. This noun is a third declension neuter. So first, it's a third declension. You can tell by the is of the genitive singular. And it is neuter in gender. You can tell by the n given to it by the dictionary. Now a third declension noun that is neuter, if its nominative ends in al, like animal, e, the letter e, or ar, then the noun is a third declension I stem, and will have third declension I stem neuter endings. Blank, is, e, same as nominative e, that is the letter I, ia, eum, ibus, ia, ibus. So animal, animalis, animali, animal, animali, animalia, animalium, animalibus, animalia, animalibus. So animalia with the ia, ia ending, that could be either the nominative plural or it could be the accusative plural. If the noun turns out to be nominative, it is the subject. If it turns out to be accusative, it will be the direct object. Now, you should pause right here and say, we know which one it is, because we have a form of to be, a form of sum esse fui futurus. If we have a form of to be, sunt, which is a linking verb, we would link a subject with a predicate nominative. You cannot have an accusative direct object if you have a form of to be as your verb. If your verb is a form of to be, it's a linking verb, you cannot have an accusative direct object. So we can go ahead and cross out the accusative direct object here and also here in multa. Could multa agree with animalia? Yes, in fact, it probably does. One of these will be the subject, and then we'll probably have a predicate. We could also, or a predicate nominative, or if it's sunt, as an existential sunt, we'll just say, there are many animals, multa animalia. Magna, from magnus big, great, large. It could be, like multa, nominative singular feminine, nominative plural neuter, or accusative plural neuter. We're going to cross out accusative plural neuter for the reasons we just stated. Sunt is our main verb. It's probably going to be nominative plural neuter as well, agreeing with animalia. So it looks like so far the sentence is saying, are there, because it's a question, we're asking a yes or no question, are there many large animals? Multa animalia magna. In preposition, means in or on, or into or onto. If in takes the accusative case, it's showing motion towards, and it will mean into or onto. If in takes the ablative case, it is showing location, and it means in or on. The next word, mari, comes from mare, maris, neuter, the sea, the big blue wobbly wet thing. This form, mari, could be the dative singular neuter or the ablative singular neuter. And if you're wondering how could it be ablative, remember that mare is a third declension I stem. It's the neuter I stem. Like animal, it's a third neuter I stem. If the nominative ends in al, like animal, the letter e, like mare, or ar, like exemplar. So we have mare, maris, neuter. The declension of mare will be like mare, maris, mari, mare, mari, maria, marium, maribus, maria, maribus. So in plus the ablative, this is its ablative form, shows location. So we want in, ablative location, mari is ablative. Lato, from latus aum, meaning wide or broad. It could be dative singular masculine or neuter, or it could be ablative singular masculine or neuter, and it's probably ablative singular masculine or neuter because it's modifying the noun mari. In mari lato, in the wide sea, in the broad sea. Are there many large animals in the wide sea? Yes or no? Optime. Very well done. Moving on. Sententia secunda. Multae naves ad insulam in mare portabunt frumentum. So multae, from multus aum, that multi form could be genitive or dative singular feminine or nominative plural feminine. Probably modifies naves, from navis, navis feminine, ship or boat. This is a third declension feminine I stem, has the same rules as the masculine. So if a third declension masculine or feminine noun ends in is or es, is like navis, and is perisyllabic with the genitive, that means has the same number of syllables as the genitive. So the nominative navis, 1, 2, has the same number of syllables as the genitive navis, 1, 2. The noun is an I stem. Therefore, its genitive plural will end in ium, navium, instead of just So multae naves, naves being nominative or accusative, plural feminine. So multae naves, many ships. It's going to be nominative because multae is nominative plural. Here's our subject, many ships. Ad plus the accusative shows motion towards, removing towards the insulam, from insula I feminine, in island. So accusative motion towards the island. In plus the accusative will show motion towards, meaning into or onto. In plus the ablative will show location, meaning in or on. Mari, that is the ablative singular neuter of mare, maris, neuter, meaning the sea, the big blue wobbly wet thing. We have ablative of location with the preposition in. So we are in or on the sea. Remember the declension of mare is mare, maris, mari, mare, mari. Maria, marium, maribus, maria, maribus, because it is a third declension neuter I stem. Its nominative ends in the letter E, mare. Portabunt, from porto, portare, portavi, portatus, to carry. Portabunt is third person plural, future active indicative, they will carry. The subject, third person plural, will carry, and we know our subjects are the multae naves. Many ships, we're going towards an island, we are on the sea, and the many ships will carry. They're going to carry an accusative direct object, which is frumentum. From frumentum e neuter, grain. So it could be nominative, but we already have a nominative, so it's not going to be the nominative subject, or it could be accusative direct object, and yes, we need one of those. So what are the many ships carrying? They are carrying the frumentum, the accusative direct object, grain. So many ships will carry grain to the island on the sea, or the island in the sea. Tertia, sententia tertia. Erat in flumine pons ab insula ad urbem. So erat, third person singular, imperfect, active, indicative of sum, esse, fui futurus. And when we have a form of sum as the first word of our sentence, we typically have what is called existential sum, like in sententia prima, where it was sunt ne, there are. Here we have erat, he, she, or it, because it's third person singular, was. Or it could also be existential sum, there was, there used to be a something, a nominative subject something, a nominative noun. In plus the accusative will show motion towards, meaning into or onto. In plus the ablative will show location, either in or on. Flumine comes from flumen, fluminus, neuter, meaning river or stream, and it is a third declension neuter noun. This is its ablative. Flumen, fluminus, flumini, flumen, flumine. Flumina, fluminum, fluminibus, flumina, fluminibus. It is not a third declension I stem. Its nominative ends in en, flumen, not al like animal, not e like mare, and not ar like exemplar. So it does not have the letter I as its ablative. Good old letter E, flumine. So there was on the river a pons, pontis masculine, that means bridge. Pons is a third declension I stem. It's a masculine noun, so it follows the masculine / feminine rules. It actually follows 2 I stem rules. It only needs to follow 1, but it actually goes under 2 rules. Its nominative is monosyllabic, pons, and then its noun stem ends in 2 consonants, nt, pont, nt. It also follows the other I stem rule of its noun stem ends in nt, pont. You can put either one. It just needs to follow 1 to be an I stem. So its genitive plural is pontium instead of just pontum. Here we have, though, the nominative, because we have the subject of erat. There was, what was? What is the thing that was on the river? The bridge. There was a bridge on the river. It was ab, ablative of separation, movement away from the insula, I feminine, the island. Insula, with the macron over the final A, ablative, singular, feminine, separation. We're moving away from the island. Ad, preposition to or towards, accusative, motion towards, urbs, orbis, feminine, meaning city. This is the accusative, motion towards the city. Remember, orbs is an I stem. Orbs, orbis, feminine, city. It's an I stem because it's a monosyllabic nominative and its noun stem, urb, ends in 2 consonants, R and B. There was, on the river, a bridge from the island to the city. There was a bridge from the island to the city on the river. Either one works. Quarta, sententia quarta. Per multas terras mariaque portabant Traiani deos ad Italiam. So per, preposition per, takes the accusative case and it means through. It's motion towards, through. We're going through multas, from multus, much, plural, many. Accusative plural feminine, has to be accusative plural feminine. Motion towards with the preposition per. Terras, from terra, I, feminine. Earth or land. So this is also accusative plural feminine, and the adjective multas modifies it. Through many lands. Mariaque, from mare, maris, neuter. Sea, the big blue wobbly wet thing. Ends in ia because mare is a third declension neuter I stem. Its nominative ends in the letter e, mare. Therefore, its declension is mare, maris, mari, mare, mari. Maria, marium, maribus, maria, maribus. So Maria with the ia, this is either the nominative or the accusative plural neuter. And we have a que here. The enclitic que means and. It is attached to a word, and it is translated before the word to which it is attached. So the and goes right here. It will probably be the same case as terras. Doesn't have to be, but it probably will be because it's and also this. Through many lands and Maria, the seas. So that makes sense that this could be accusative plural neuter to go with per. So through also the seas as well as the many lands. Portabunt, third person plural imperfect active indicative of porto, portare, portavi, portatus, meaning to carry. They were carrying, some third person plural nominative subject. Like Trojani, from Troianosaum, adjective meaning Trojan. Trojani could be a substantive, plural masculine and nominative, like Trojan men, or we could just say the Trojans. If it's nominative, it will be the subject of portabunt. So the Trojans were carrying, used to carry. Took a while to carry something through many lands and seas. And Deus, from Deus e masculine, meaning God, male deity. And because it's accusative, Deus, plural masculine, it will be the direct object of the verb portabunt. So the subject, the Trojani, they were carrying, were verbing, the accusative direct object, the gods. The Trojans were carrying their gods. The little gods, the household statues of their gods, the lares and the penates. So the Trojans were carrying their gods through many lands and seas, ad Italiam. Preposition ad, motion towards, to, towards, or near, plus the accusative, Italiam, being the accusative of Italia, I, feminine, Italy. So we're going towards Italy. Through many lands and seas, the Trojans were carrying their gods to Italy. Optime, quinta, sententia quinta. Nonne panem Romani dabant multis civibus. So nonne, not just known, but nonne. So we have known, the adverb, meaning not, with the enclitic ne. When this is together, we are asking a question, an interrogative, in which we are expecting or hoping for a yes answer. So if this confuses you, go ahead and translate the sentence as if it were a not question, a non-interrogative, a declarative, a normal sentence, if you will. And then after you've translated it as a normie sentence, then go ahead and turn it into an interrogative, turn it into a question in which you are expecting a yes answer. So panem, from ponis masculine, meaning bread. Panem is the accusative, singular, masculine, the direct object of some verb. It doesn't have a preposition in front of it. Otherwise, I might think it's motion towards. Romani, from Romanosaum, meaning Roman. It's an adjective, but this could be a substantive noun. So Romanus e masculine, a Roman man. In the plural, Romani would be the Romans. Subject, nominative plural masculine. Dabant, third person plural, imperfect active indicative of do, dare, dedi, datus, to give. So we have our nominative plural masculine subject, the Romans. And what were they doing? They were giving. Imperfect tense. They used to give over and over again, repeatedly. Some sort of direct object, panem, bread, and then multis civibus, from multasaum, much plural many, and it agrees in gender numbering case with the noun civibus, from civus, C. C stands for common. You could also write M/F, masculine/feminine. means citizen, fellow citizen. So civibus could be dative, could be ablative. Here it's going to be dative because we have dodare dedidatus, the king of dative. We are giving a direct object in the accusative to an indirect object in the dative. Dodare dative, dot, giving. So the subject, the Romans, they were giving the accusative direct object to many citizens. Now for your final answer, let's go ahead and rephrase that declarative sentence as an interrogative. And then we will phrase it so that we are expecting a yes answer. You're doing your homework right now, aren't you? Yes. Like that. The Romans used to give bread to many citizens, didn't they? Yes. Were not the Romans giving bread to many citizens? Yes. Weren't the Romans giving bread to many citizens? Yes. Optime, sexta, sententia sexta. In agro Romano erant viae a montibus ad mare. So in agro Romano, in plus the accusative would show motion towards, into, or onto, but in plus the ablative shows in or on location. We are ager, agri, masculine, field or farmland. It can also mean territory, and it's territory in a legal sense, as opposed to fines finium, the masculine plural of finis, which is territory in a sort of non-legal, broad, general sense. It's someone's boundaries. Territory, their turf, as opposed to ager, it's like this is legal, there's a lease on this land, it's being farmed, it's being used for crops, etc. So in agro Romano, in what kind of agro, what kind of territory, what kind of farmland? It's Romano, from Romano saon, meaning Roman. And it agrees in gender, number, and case with agro, in agro Romano, in the Roman farmland, or in the Roman territory. Erat, third person plural, imperfect active indicative of sum esse fui futurus, there were, or something was. In the Roman territory. Viae, from via, I, feminine, a road or a way, a street. We'll go ahead and say road. It could be genitive singular or dative singular feminine, or it could be nominative plural masculine. And it's probably going to be nominative plural, being the subject of the verb erant. There were roads in the Roman territory. In the Roman territory, there were roads. A montibus, a ab, separation, preposition meaning away from, takes the ablative case. Montibus, from mons, montis, masculine, meaning a mountain or a hill. This is an I stem. It follows two rules. It is a masculine noun, so it follows the masculine/feminine rules, which two are that it has a monosyllabic nominative and its noun stem ends in two consonants, N and T. Its noun stem also ends in NT. Like pons pontis, mons montis, follows two rules. So montibus, either dative or ablative plural. It's going to be ablative with the preposition ab, separation. We're moving away from the mountains. The roads were from the mountains, ad mare. Ad plus the accusative, motion towards. We're going towards the mare, maris, neuter, sea, the big blue wobbly wet thing. In the Roman territory were roads from the mountains to the sea. There were roads from the mountains to the sea in the Roman territory. And yes, the Romans, they built a lot of roads. Septima, sententia septima. Est semper in proelio periculum mortis. Wise words, truth, veritas. Est vero. Est semper, Est, third person singular, present active indicative of sum esse fui futurus. Usually when sum is the first word, we have existential sum, so a form of to be, usually in the third person singular plural, like in sententia prima, sunt ne. So there are, here is est, there is. Semper, always. It's an adverb because it shows when, always. In plus the accusative would show motion towards, into, or onto, but here we have in plus the ablative showing location. Proelium e neuter, battle, in battle. Periculum e neuter, danger. Either the nominative, where it would be the subject, or the accusative. Danger, Will Robinson. You cannot have an accusative direct object if you have a form of to be, which is a linking verb. So periculum must be nominative subject. It is the subject of est. If you ask yourself, what is there always in battle? The answer is periculum, danger. There is danger always in battle, and it's periculum mortis, a danger mortis of death. Mortis is the genitive singular feminine of mors, mortis, feminine. Mors is an I stem. It's a feminine noun. It's a third declension, so it follows the masculine / feminine third declension I stem rules. It's as a monosyllabic nominative. Its noun stem ends in two consonants, R and T, and also its noun stem ends in RT. So it follows two rules. Only needs to follow one rule, but it follows two, like mons and pons. There is always a danger of death in battle. Octava, sententia octava. In Galliae finibus erant multae gentes. In plus the ablative shows location. We don't have in plus the accusative here. Galliae is not ablative. What? In plus the ablative finibus shows location. Galliae, well, that could be genitive singular or dative singular, and it's going to be genitive singular, showing possession. In finibus, so finis masculine, which is an I stem, that is boundary, finish, end, limit. In the plural, fines finium, and there you can see the I stem finium, genitive plural, it means territory. Not in a legal sense like ager, but territory in a sort of rough, broad, general sense. So finibus goes with in. So where are we located? In the territory of Gaul. In the territory of Gaul. You could also say in the boundaries of Gaul. In Gaul's boundaries. Erant, third person plural, imperfect active indicative of sum esse fui futur. Sum's getting quite a workout in this exercise. So they were, or there were. Multae, from multus much plural, many, and it looks like it modifies gentes, from gens, gentis, feminine, clan, race, nation, tribe. Now that's an I stem. Its stem is nt, so it follows that rule. It also has a monosyllabic nominative, gens, and its noun stem ends in two consonants, n and t. So its genitive plural would be gentium, gens, gentis, genti, gentim, gente, gentes, gentium, gentibus, gentes, gentibus. Multae gentes, this together, nominative plural feminine, it's the nominative subject of erant. So if you ask yourself, what were in the boundaries of Gaul? What existed in Gaul's boundaries? The answer, multae gentes, many tribes. Many tribes were in Gaul's boundaries. There were many tribes, many peoples in the boundaries of Gaul, in the territory of Gaul. Nonne, sententia nonna. In hostium castris multos cives vestros spectabimus. Uh-oh. In plus the accusative would show motion towards, into, or onto, but in plus the ablative would show location. Hostium, why, that's gotta be genitive plural, from hostis, hostis masculine, meaning an enemy of the state, a public enemy. In the plural, hostes, hostium, it means the enemy, with the definite article, the enemy. And here we have hostium, genitive plural. It's an I stem, so of the enemy, or the enemies, with the apostrophe s. And yes, an I stem, because its nominative ends in is, and it's perisyllabic with the genitive. Hostis and hostis both have 2 syllables. But in does not go with hostium, which is genitive. In goes with the ablative castris. It's just that the genitive is possession, which is possessing the noun castris. Castra, orum, always neuter, always plural, camp. So we are in the camp. Ablative, plural, neuter, camp. Plural in Latin, singular in English. In the camp of the enemy. In the enemy's camp. We could even say in the enemy camp, but keep in mind that that equals the camp of the enemy. Multos, from multus a much plural many. Os is the accusative plural masculine. Looks like it's going to be the direct object. There's no preposition in front indicating motion towards. And then cives, from civibus common. You can also write masculine / feminine. This could either be the nominative, meaning the nominative fellow citizens, or accusative direct object, and multos could modify it, agree with it. So many citizens. We don't know yet. We need more info. Vestros, from vester, vestra, vestrum, meaning your, plural. And vestros is accusative, plural masculine, modifying, looks like it's modifying cives. Looks like this whole thing goes together. Multos cives vestros, many of your fellow citizens, y'all's fellow citizens. And then spectavimus, from specto, spectare, spectavi, spectatus, to look at. Spectavimus is first person plural, perfect tense, active indicative. There's the perfect stem spectab plus the imus ending. So who did the action? First person plural, we did. We verbed, we have verbed. We looked at, we have looked at the many of your citizens in the enemy camp. We looked at many of your citizens in the enemy camp, in the camp of the enemy. Ooh, wonder what they were doing there. And decima, sententia decima. Semper erunt Caesaris proeliorum in Gallia memoriae. So semper, adverb, meaning always, because it answers the question when. When? Always. Modifies the verb. Adverbs can also modify adjectives and other adverbs. Erunt, there's our verb. Third person plural, future, active indicative of sum esse fui futurus, which has been the king of this exercise, to be. Erunt is the future. So something will be, will always be. That means we cannot have an accusative direct object in this sentence. Caesaris, from Caesar, Caesaris masculine, meaning Caesar, and this is genitive, possession, so ownership of Caesar, or we could write Caesars with the apostrophe s. Proeliorum, this is the genitive plural of proelium e neuter, meaning battle, so of battles, of Caesar's battles. In Gallia, in plus the accusative would show motion towards, into, or onto, but in plus the ablative shows location in or on. So in Gallia, Gallia, I, feminine, Gaul, modern day France. So in Gallia, we are located in Gaul. And then memoriae, from memoria, I, feminine, meaning memory. Memoriae could be genitive singular or dative singular, but it's going to be nominative plural. We need a subject to go with this erant. What will always be? The memories. Memories of what? Memories of Caesar's battles, of the battles of Caesar in Gaul. There will always be memories of Caesar's battles in Gaul. Optime, very well done. You are now ready to move on to exercise D of chapter 12. Valete omnes.